What is up, everybody? You're live with the Prodigy and Omari, the top dog. We promised y'all a political episode. It won't be a very long one. We're gonna kind of go with this episode just because we went so long on the previous couple. Top dog, we wanted to get this off his chest for quite a while now, so I'm gonna bring him in to talk about a couple things. Yeah, we're gonna start off with the Tory Lanez situation and take it from there. Top dog, Omari, what's causing all this, man? I know you've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Man, you are pretty politically inclined. I'm kind of careful while I go about it just because I've worked too hard not to get my shit taken down. But I would speak the truth to a lot of things, but I do it from a balanced, impartial standpoint. A lot of people are partial. A lot of people can get away with stuff. I can't get away with it. So I stay away from that. I'm to the point, and this, excuse me, extends to all my content beyond wrestling. Even with wrestling, wrestling is a better example. I don't get into arguments with people. It's not worth it. It's not worth me losing everything I've built up. I'm already at damn near 3,000 views on TikTok already. I've only been on there. This is my fourth day now. So yeah, we've been doing things, Omari, and I got to thank Omari, Victor, Marissa, JoJo, my Cope's Corner, the whole crew, man. Everybody from the TWRP clique for being truthful, man. Omari, man, what's causing all this, man? I can't believe this kid's 18 and he know a lot about life that some people don't want to talk about. And the title of this thing, Omari, is called Amendments of the True Masculinity. Well, a lot of these topics kind of answer while we were talking about that. I think it's an attack on independence, an attack on masculinity, but not all bad. Some overly masculine people need to be crucified. You know what I mean? Like people like what's this guy's name? The one everybody said looked like Ricochet. I can't think of his name right now. The guy that was online talking down to women.
You talking about
Andrew Tate. Yeah, Andrew Tate. Yeah,
the
guys
men
like
of
kind of put their own mouths. You know.
stuff.
Go ahead. What you said. Sorry, go ahead.
In my opinion, they're just trying to be Kevin Samuels, but without the knowledge.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, they definitely tried to be, generic dollar store, Kevin Samuels or whatever. That's good. And some of the, I don't necessarily disagree with everything he said. It's just, bro, the way you going about it is a little crazy. People gonna always insinuate that you gay in situations like that, dude. Like, what did you really expect? Like, that's exactly what people are gonna think you are. You know what I mean? So this whole town hall thing has been buzzing with Trump or whatever after this trial thing. And I honestly think it's a whole thing for ratings. Like CNN, all those liberal talking heads that they had was not going to get them the ratings. Cable news and all that stuff is about entertainment. Ted Turner got caught up in the middle of this because he started, cable network news or TBS, TNT, all that stuff. The cable was basically started in the United States by Ted Turner. So, and he even bled over to wrestling. But Omari, what do you think about all this stuff, man? Have you been keeping up with stuff on Twitter? Omari muted himself. I'm not sure why. Omari?
Oh, I'm back. Could you repeat that? I had to go do something.
No, I was saying, have you been keeping up with all this Trump, CNN news and all this type of stuff? Town hall meeting. Have you been keeping up with any? I'm gonna read an official article in a second, but I was just wondering if you read about any of it. Have you been keeping up with stuff on Twitter? If so, what do you think of all this crazy stuff?
What I think of it, I think it's just all controlled. I think Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, liberals, they're all puppets. I think, and I focus on the puppeteers. I focus on the actual people who is controlling the strings that nobody's going to call out, like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. I'm focusing on guys like that. I don't really like. I think Trump can do a lot of good things, but I also think he shows signs of being controlled. So.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like he'll say something intelligent and then he'll go right back and put his foot in his mouth, man. He's quite an interesting person, to say the least. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's an interesting dude, man. I don't know what to say about Trump. I've always said he's been a pro wrestler. He had everything it takes to be a pro wrestler, man. I don't know why he didn't do it. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
He's the best president. Well, the best puppet / president we have had in a while. I mean, because since I'm not the biggest Reagan fan, but he did all right. But after Reagan, who did you have? You had Bush Sr., you had Clinton, then you had Bush Jr., and you had Obama. So I mean, you see, so like the competition wasn't very high anyway. So
right, and then it helps that we was kind of in the era like Trump benefited from a couple things. He benefited from the fact that the country was in an uproar. They hated everything Obama did. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest Obama supporter for a lot of reasons. However, like a lot of this country overreacted. Like it was a lot of pettiness with the Obama thing. Like they wanted to, when Trump got in office, their first objective was to undo things that Trump, Obama put in. Like that's dumb. You know what I mean? That Obama implemented. That's like petty, childish, like schoolyard shit. Like, don't nobody think, like, come on. Now, you can have a problem with executive orders. I had problems with Obama's executive orders because a lot of people say, oh, he's the first black president. But when you look at a lot of stuff, he did more stuff for gays, illegal immigrants, women, handicaps than black men, black people in general. But he did stuff for gay black people. Yeah. Like, and this is not even hate speech. This is pure facts. Like, you can go look at his executive orders. You can go look at things that got implemented. Look how much this transgender thing has accelerated since Obama was in office. He was the catalyst of all that. And there's nothing wrong with that in itself, but you're being dishonest if you're saying, like, he was a heavy, him and his wife were heavy gay supporters and all that type of stuff. And it seems like masculinity started to take a huge decline during the Obama administration. I'm sure a lot of that was designed. I'm sure a lot of it was out of his control. It's just every president, what people have to understand is every president has, because I went to school for politics, so I kind of know how it's supposed to be done, and it's a shit show joke right now. Nothing's been done away. If people really knew about the Constitution, they would know they don't really have rights. Your vote don't really matter unless you make probably like $1 million at least, or high six figures. They don't even consider. You think those people actually go in a room and count votes and then determine based off that allow you to be president? Get up out of here. You know damn well only thing that matters is that electoral college. The popular vote was debunked several times, specifically with blacks, but in general, a lot of people won a popular. At least 2 popular presidents won popular vote, and then the other person still won. So that tells you everything you need to know. Secondly, what people have to understand is if you really read that Constitution and like voted the way you're supposed to, it'll be a lot of lawsuits. So they keep stuff purposely out of your face and make you think the act of voting itself is the important part versus actually getting the resources. Like, they'll have you thinking that, which I have to understand is, yes, Donald Trump gets away with a lot of stupid stuff that everyday people cannot get away with. Like, when he said, I'm going to grab a woman by her pee, anybody else would have been in prison for that, or probably beat to death if they would have said that. He can do whatever you want because he's uber intelligent. He's made a lot of people money. The country, Amazon in itself, like I said, people have to stop being emotional when it comes to politics and be very logical, which I am. I read a lot. I know how to investigate. I know how to tell when something's a lie. I do this with wrestling all the time. It's just I'm that type of person. I'm not afraid to ask certain questions. I'm not afraid to ask tough questions. I'm not afraid to see in the dark. Omari's the same. Anybody around me have critical thinking skills. Well, I wouldn't be talking to him. So, what people have to understand is you have to be logical. It's a lot of stake in this country to make people weak, feeble, and very feminized. And I don't mean by feminine like a woman. It's sexy when a woman's feminine. When a woman acts like a woman, I like that. Like, that's what women's supposed to act like. So when women, they condition the women to think feminine means weak or a guy is talking over it. No, feminine means you're a brain dead asshole that don't have critical thinking skills. You do what you're told. You don't question shit. That's what feminine is. Yeah. Femininity. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Omar?
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, I've said this before on Twitter, and I made people mad. I really don't give a fuck, bro. And because it has to be said, is that the United States is not. It's like ever since 1913, right? You could argue before, right? With Lincoln, in the Civil War, and you can argue that, but I want to argue 1913. I feel like that was the day that true freedoms in this country was lost because
that time. Go ahead.
Because the Federal Reserve, a lot of people don't know about this. The Federal Reserve, they're the ones that control our money and print. They took us off the gold standard, which was a mistake because that meant the gold got full control of our money, and plus. Since that day, we have lost like 90% value of the American dollar. The American dollar could tank very soon. So that's also bad. And then if the American dollar tanks, a lot of people are going to go broke because a lot of people don't have gold because they confiscated all the gold.
Right. Two, we living off fiat currency, which it's not backed by any natural resources.
Yes. And then two is that two is like the Federal Reserve, it gave the deep state, Federal Reserve, and then later on you had the CIA and the FBI, and then you have the deep state, which is a lot of people don't know this. It's a government inside of a government. They're an elected government. We didn't elect them. And every time, and when a president decides to go against them, try to like JFK, right? The whole quote, he was going to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the wind.
Right.
What he was going to do is he wanted to put the American dollar back in the hands of Congress. He wanted us to go back to printing our own money, but the CIA they didn't like that, so they took him out. That's what but a lot of people don't understand this, and I'm tired of and just talk about the generation things. It's not young generations that are brainwashed and propagandized. Yes, they get the most of it because they're younger, but the older generations are just as brainwashed because a lot of them don't question nothing. It's the same stuff, Republicans, Democrats, Trump is gonna save the day, or it's gonna be Biden. It's like, no, it's not like that. Like, that's why I like the French so much. Like, they're actually protesting. Like, they actually going to BlackRock, who is those corporations that's pushing all of this. Yeah. Corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard, the they're the ones that's pushing a lot of this. And
right,
the trans stuff, they're pushing that. They're pushing a lot of this stuff, and they're actually taking it to them. And I'm proud of them. Something that we should be doing, but we're too distracted to do that. So
that's true. And that goes back to the feminizing of this country. It don't have nothing to do with a woman being her true self. Excuse me, a lot of women think you taking their freedoms away, or I can't be a woman. It don't have anything to do with that. It simply has to do with the fact that they're trying to make people weak and easier to control. That's what all this stuff comes down to. That's what I mean by feminizing. And all these things we got on here today, Trump and Tucker Carlson, they're presented as being crazy. I don't agree with everything they say. Some stuff they say is privilege and it's stupid. But however, I like the balls that they have. Like Tucker Carlson is taking his show. He got screwed with Fox because we already know what happened with the Fox thing. He got screwed. He's potentially going to lose $20 million because he has I think he still had dates with Fox. He had to work. He's still legally under contract. And I think they'll be able to invoke a non-compete clause if he goes to another brand. So this dude has such balls. He's considering leaving that money behind. He's going to Twitter. It's already trending right now. He made the announcement, I believe, yesterday that he's going to bring his show to Twitter, which, I mean, I encourage a lot of people to do that because all these other big 6 umbrella ones, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, well, Facebook and Instagram are both owned by the same company. Google owns YouTube. All these big corporations, NBC, CBS, all these people are taking away freedom of speech under the guise of, oh, we don't want you to attack this or that person. Even though, excuse me, they know damn well it's unconstitutional and illegal, but they know most people don't read stuff. That's why I always tell people you have to read your state and federal constitution. Stuff you think, excuse me, oh shit, I need some water. Stuff you think that you're not supposed to be doing, you can, and stuff that you are not supposed to be doing, you're doing. So that's why you need to read your constitution.
Don't know is that two things I was gonna talk about that the whole Facebook stuff, but first because this is really important that people need to know of is that something that probably like 90% people in this country don't know is that the founding fathers literally wrote in our constitution that we are take back the White House, the government from these assholes. Because they knew because the founding fathers knew even back then that they knew the government was gonna become like it is today. So they wrote in the Constitution where we can take that back. Right. A lot of people, we can take our country back if we want to. It's just that we keep letting them divide us with stuff.
And the first big mistake people are making, you're 100% correct about what you just said. A big mistake that people are making is people are voluntarily giving up guns. You are crazy. You're a prisoner of war. Everybody is specifically minorities. You're a prisoner of war. You always have been, even before all this America being against each other stuff. They always never cared about minorities other than you building their country and shit like that. They don't care about you. And I'm not going to get into specifics because I don't want to get this decentralized or lose monetization. We'll talk about that privately off air. But you have to be crazy. Now, I'm a big advocate of safely and responsibly using guns, but getting away from them is some of the most. That goes back to them feminizing the country. That the first thing you do when you want to conquer a nation is you destroy the men's masculinity. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. Why do you think Asia and all this stuff are trying to ban TikTok? What does TikTok have a lot of? Feminine stuff, dancing, twerking. That's all feminine stuff. That's why they're trying to ban that shit. And the irony of it, China made it, but they really monitor it in their own country. They made it for us. And I honestly think that, as crazy as this might sound, I'm starting to think TikTok, and I literally just thought about this just because my brain is always critically thinking. China probably made TikTok as a weapon to feminize the United States. Now that I'm thinking about it, they put it out there because Montana, which is a heavily Republican state, banned it. Obviously, they're the first state to ban it. I don't know how long it's gonna stick, but a couple weeks ago they banned it.
Well, first that TikTok ban shit pissing me off because first, let me talk about like the feminization. The feminization of this country has been going on way before TikTok. They've been poisoning our food for decades. They've been putting fluoride, they're poisoning into the water, they're poisoning the air, they're brainwashing people on the TV. Like a lot of classic shows from back in the day that people love. There's certain hidden agendas about them, especially nowadays. But even back then, when shows were still good, there were some hidden agendas back. And the thing is, though, a lot of generations has grown up being brainwashed, man, essentially. Especially
but with TikTok, it's easier to because more it's accessible, it's easy to use. So they knew more people. It's paramount that you put agendas on social media app because the world moves faster. You could put a lot of stuff out there, and a very intelligent eye or mom that's like, oh, he's just watching a cute video. They won't know that they putting a lot of subliminal stuff in cartoons. So it's harder. I'm sorry, it's way easier. That is scarier now because of how fast technology. Back then, people were like, they didn't have access to all that. Like you probably, if you live in some remote area without a whole lot, now it's dangerous, of course, to be cut off from a lot of civilization. However, they were less inundated by propaganda too because information didn't spread as fast back then.
Well, the thing was that even like way before TikTok, even before social media, is that because they've poisoned our food. Like they've been poisoning our food for decades, and that's one of the reasons why society has gotten so soft.
A lot of people do think that. A lot of people think with the BPA and the plastics and a lot of it. I think, what was that I read? It's funny because I think I was listening to this. Oh, Cat Williams was talking about this. I was listening to Cat Williams while I was eating dinner, and he was talking about how, and I need to look into this, of course. He was talking about how some federal organization, I think, secretly wrote into law that it's okay to start selling and manufacturing pretty much factory-made food.
It's part of the FDA. See, the thing is, though, a lot of it goes back to the 60s because that's when they was trying to get a lot of people. Well, honestly, earlier, but I say 50s, 60s, well, 60s. That's because that's when they scammed a lot of women to go into the work field. And hey, I'm not against women working. I'm not granted. Kind of rather a lot of them just stay at home, be a mom, help do the family. But hey, I don't have a problem with that. But the problem is that they brainwashed a lot of women to get out the house. And, now rent, everything is going up. Inflation has gone up. Over the past 50 something years. So they now both the mom and the dad got to work. So they can't cook no home cooked meals no more. So what do? Hey. Some TV dinners. We all grew up on TV dinners. That's what they did.
A lot of stuff has plastic and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, that's what
investing plastic is bad for your health, like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what they do. And about that TikTok stuff, is that I don't like TikTok. I barely use it. I just use it, for certain stuff. But it's like this is what people talking about, like these conservatives. I know, they should ban TikTok. I was like, okay, it's like ban TikTok. Okay, let them ban TikTok.
I don't think banning TikTok is the answer. I would say refine TikTok. Like they need to, make it more accessible and shit. Or put more, give you options to what you want to watch and make it more educational and shit. I'm sorry.
Was on the ban TikTok train, but then I realized one day I slapped myself in the back of the head. It's like, that's not a good idea. And I'm like, for all the people that want to ban TikTok, go ahead. Let the government ban, and then let them, and then you just find out you basically you gave away your privacy and certain freedoms on, because that's what they're gonna do if they TikTok. The federal government gets their way and they ban TikTok. They're going to usher in the Restrict Act, which will essentially be the online version of the Patriot Act, which is you can essentially go to jail for criticizing the government online. If you got a VPN, you can go to jail. This is what happens. People don't think of these things when they advocate for this stuff, man. It's
right. That's why I'm saying I'm against practice of free speech. Now, it's always a place for censoring or keeping stuff away from people that don't want to see it, or specifically children. There's always ways to do that. I'm in favor of that. but I'm not in favor of like canceling anything. That's unconstitutional. A
Oh,
and B, it's dumb. Like you never. That's like at that point, you're basically a fascist dictatorship. Like you don't want that. Can you imagine America being under a dictatorship? All it takes is one dictator, and we'll be screwed.
I'll argue we are. Honestly, I'll
I
argue.
think you know what? This might sound crazy. I think China is one of the few countries, and Korea, that actually manage dictatorship well. And a large part of it is a lot of the Chinese citizens, A, have discipline in a good way, and B, they're a education heavy country, which means they'll let stuff go so far. They're not stupid. Like people think China are putting up arms against certain stuff too. You have it's a section of China that protests against certain things. But I honestly think they look at it as a means to an end. I think it's more a military strategy for other countries to try to make it seem like, oh, this is so harsh. I can guarantee you, the United States without a dictatorship, we are worse off than China because China has a discipline and they have a backdrop of education, which means if something go wrong, they know how to defend themselves. They know how to probably farm, and they because that's what comes with education. You know what I mean? I think it'll come a time where things get too far to whack, and China will the citizen will fight them back. I don't think the Chinese people are that crazy. You know what I mean? I think with education comes preparedness, generally speaking. When you have education, you're generally prepared. So I think they can actually manage it, them in North Korea.
Yeah. Well, the United States pretty much is. We pretty much are under oligarchy. That's pretty much what we're under. We're not. I mean, and also too is that if you want to be honest with you, a lot of people don't want to admit this, and I told this online. The United States arguably has done worse than the Communist Party of China in some ways, especially when it comes to killing other people and starting wars in foreign lands. We are way worse than China than that, in my opinion.
Of course. Look, case in point, look what they did to Iraq and Vietnam. Those are two primary examples of it.
Yeah, like I said, you better know. Like, what's funny is that a lot of people want to come at the younger gen for being anti-American, which I mean I can understand, but I mean, be honest with you, I mean, can you really blame them? Especially nowadays, can you really blame them? I mean,
right, especially when it's shit like, oh, they trying to take slavery out of books. We still trying to people fighting for freedoms of why they're in it, like this crazy shit. But go ahead, yeah. But
problem is, man, it's like a lot of these people, bro, especially like conservatives, older people, they're so like pro-America, like pro-America, propaganda. They've been, America's the greatest. They can do no wrong. It's like, no, we probably one of the worst. Honestly, I would say this. We're probably one of the worst, countries, most evilest countries in the world. We're not as bad as like a North Korea or a CCP, but we're kind of up there. And people don't want to see it, but I mean, bro, there's a lot of people in other countries that does not like America because of the war crimes that we have committed. Well, our leaders have committed, but like
it's definitely an argument for we have a lot of work to do as a country. I'm just gonna slow you down just for a second, so we're gonna get too ahead of ourselves. I got a quick question for you specifically. How are you so smart at 18? Now, let me give my opinion, and then I want you to actually answer that. I think a large part of it. Did you grow up with your mom and dad?
No, I did not.
Okay, you live with your mom, right?
I live with my mom right now. Yes.
Right, your mom. Got you. Okay, so is your dad still living?
Yes, he is.
Okay, he's still living. This is my theory, because you're way too damn I knew you were smart when it came to wrestling. I didn't think you knew all this stuff about politics, going back in the past and breaking down, all the critical parts of it and being able to go deep and connect. I didn't think I didn't even know that because we generally don't have a lot of time. Me and you don't really cover a lot of this. It's usually real like in passing, but that's why I think we're going to do this once a week on a regular basis. Ideally, I would like to, especially if it's a lot of stuff trending online. I think by you growing up in the South, because I always tell people, the South in the Midwest, and it's the reason they call it a guy's country and they call it the heartland. The reason those two phrases relate to the South in the Midwest because they're the true United States. That's where a lot of the factory is. That's where a lot of the blue collar workers are. A lot of stuff is made in those two regions, the Midwest and the South, and they tend to be more traditional, family wise, and they generally stay out of other people's business. So I think by you growing up kind of on the cusp, because you're in Oklahoma, that is considered the South and the Midwest. A lot of people consider that kind of like the center of the country, Oklahoma, right below Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, that area. That's like the center of Illinois. So I think by you growing up in the South, and that played a large role in why you're as smart as you are. Are your parents like, or your mom specific? Is she like an educator or something? How do you know so much? Or you just read a lot on your own growing up?
Well, that too. Like I used to always do like my like what's crazy is that when I was like in school, especially like elementary and middle school, I didn't read. Like I've never wanted to read. I didn't want to do work. It's not because I didn't like that's the problem with school, like the education system, is that the education system sucks the joy out of kids where they don't want to learn. Like because kids, they're programmed to learn. That's the whole
right.
They're put on this earth to learn. Like they learn, like if they see their parents doing something, especially when they're at a young age, they're gonna be excited to do it too. The thing is the education system, it sucks the joy out of kids. You're forcing them to go to school for 8 hours, to force them to do something they don't want to do. They gotta wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right. And not only that, to add to what you said, you supposed to have school and with windows. It's fucking schools that don't have windows. Can you believe it? Not windows. I say it's schools with classrooms that don't have windows. That is that is counterproductive and inhumane. Schools should be outside, or at least at the very least, if it's not outside, portions of it outside, or you need to have a lot of windows where light can come in. Of course, you can put up curtains, so if you're watching a movie, you could make it dark or whatever the case, or you got a projector. It's ways to do that. And I listen to a lot of Dave. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm at work. I'm great at multitasking. I can still catch somebody and still be on my. I'm good at. I always have been good at multitasking, and I'm very similar to Omari. Where school didn't challenge me. They was trying to convince my mom that I was special ed. I knew I wasn't special ed. I was smart in front of some of my teachers. I'm not even trying to be arrogant. As a 6th, 7th, 8th grader, I probably couldn't tell you every little thing about everything, but I always got the context or whatever. I was learning. I always kind of got where it was going. So when I saw where the teacher was going, I would get bored and do my own thing. Like I already see where this is going. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I was kind of that way or whatever. But go ahead. I'm still listening to your story. Go ahead. What you're saying.
That was me. That was me technically. I was in special ed classes. I mean, well, I want to say full on special. So there's like, yeah, I forgot what it's like. I forgot what it's called. Where you was I guess you would be considered in the special ed.
You had an IEP. That's what you mean?
Yeah, I had an IEP, but but you still you wasn't in the special needs class. Where the special needs people are you
was only there for certain stuff, certain subjects or something like that.
So how it works is that essentially you're in class, with the other normal people, but you get easier tests. If you need for a test, you go to the research room and stuff like that. That's pretty much what.
I know what you mean. They call it something. I can't think of it. You was considered a.
Hold on, I'll be back, bro.
Sure. Remedial. They consider that. What Omari is talking about is they consider I'm fascinated that this kid is he's so fucking smart. He's 18, dude. I think he turns 19 in August. I think his birthday's in August. But while he's doing this, I'm gonna take this down quick and read. Now let's get into some technical stuff. Let's start off with the Donald Trump situation. And then we're gonna get into Tory Lanez because I want to actually ask Omari about some specific stuff with Tory Lanez. So what I want to do with this is let's I think Washington Post, everybody picked this up. Real quick, I'm gonna read the brief part of this. We're gonna break a few of these things down, and then we're gonna get into the Tory Lanez thing. The Tucker Carlson thing was basically he was just leaving Fox. We don't have to do a whole lot with that. And he's going to Twitter. Say that again?
Did you get my tweets? Because I really want to cover that
today. Yeah, I'm gonna that's gonna be the very last thing we do. We're gonna close out with that, and then we're gonna turn it into a game like what I was. Yeah, I got them. I got all of them.
These people,
bro, what the fuck? Washington Post, just put the article up. I don't want to fucking subscribe to your bullshit. I'm sorry, Omar.
To finish off the story, it's that I learned a lot of stuff online, honestly, especially in the last couple of years. My dad telling me about this. Other people was telling me about this. I don't know if you heard, listening to guys like TWRP, they're questioning everything. There's also a Dan. His name is Dan Smariglio.
I know. Yeah, I know he is from Pittsburgh. I know he is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I highly encourage people to check him out. Honestly, I learned a lot from him. To be honest with you.
You didn't know I used to work for VOP Radio for a month. I used to work for them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It didn't end up working out with certain staff there. That's why I ain't gonna get into too much detail because I love Dan, but it just didn't work out with certain people that was working there. But a lot. It's a lot of good people. It was only 2 people I had issues with, and everybody else did too. They might be gone by now. This was 2 years ago, so they could be gone. But yeah, VOP, they do that thing. They got their own VPN. I like Smirglioli. I don't agree with everything those guys say, but like for the most part, oh yeah, them the homies. I fucks with them.
Hey,
but yeah,
I usually be on this streams that he does his political shocks. I usually be on those.
Oh, that's probably why I briefly heard you from. I might have heard you on that at some point because I listened to a couple of them, and I think that I did remember them saying Omari or Top Dog. That was before because we ain't meet till like late 22. So I kind of just met you. So officially, we probably saw each other in passing or something. But yeah. But that's cool. You read a lot of stuff.
A bit, beat up, voice of the people, VOP, Dan, CWRP.
So VHS then. VHS works for them.
I think I do know VHS.
Yeah, I've heard his voice like 1 or 2 times, but I know he wrestles, and for a while he was signed to NWA, so it's certain stuff he can't talk about, get involved with wrestling. I totally understand, but yeah, I know VHS does some shit with them too. Yeah,
and plus the other thing is too, it's like I'm not trying to come off as soft, but it's like like the whole even though I don't really like my generation or millennials, I guess that would be your generation. The 80s and 90s kids, 90s like that. Sure. I really not the biggest fan, but like I got tired, the older generation just pounding on them. It's like, bro, you're pounding on them when you're the same way. You might be a little, but it's like you're essentially the same. And who raised these people? That I know you be seeing me getting into arguments with these people on this subject. It's
sometimes,
I just hate this, bro. It's like the older generations want to pound the younger generations, but who raised them? That's my question. That's always my question.
And that's the question I always ask too. Like, you could point fingers all day, but you're supposed to be the adult in the situation.
Yeah, that you're the elders. They're supposed to live up to you.
And that's also a strategy that the powers that be uses. They do the divide and conquer stuff.
Yeah,
that's exactly like they put in African American history. It's called they call it the Willie Lynch letter or whatever. But in every non-African American context is called divide and conquer, but they call it the Willie Lynch letter in African American culture. And a lot of people try to debate the validity. The point is, the concept is factual. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Stop splitting hairs with these stupid arguments.
I agree. But, not even just like you take the divide and conquer out the window. It's like, say that doesn't exist, right? Say it's just a better world. Even like the older generations don't have no one to talk. In my opinion, it's like they are just as degenerate. The thing is though, what helped them is that a lot of their degenerate stuff aired because there wasn't no social media back in the day. So because in my opinion, they're no different than the younger generations today. Mario Party was a little bit smarter, but the thing is there was no social media. So the thing is that when people do dumb stuff today, it gets people put it on social media for the world to see. You didn't have that back then. It was easier for them to hide. But as long as I'm here, as long as I'm on social media, I'm gonna call it out.
Sure. As we should. Yeah, as we should.
Like I said, I really don't care for people my age or the generation above, but I don't like them always getting constantly dog piled on for the same stuff that older.
Well, I would just say don't cover everybody with the same blanket. A lot of them are like that, but it's a lot of good, sweet, supportive people that's in that age group as well. I would say not to cover everybody with the same brush. You know what I mean?
I agree, but I agree. I'm just saying I don't I like to hold people accountable. It's my question is, okay, if you think they're so bad, you want to make fun of them. Shouldn't you be making fun of yourself? Shouldn't you be making fun of your own parenting? That's what it's a good parent. Because a good parent wouldn't just wouldn't make fun of their kids. They'll see the problem. And I'm not a parent. Again, I'm not a parent, so I really don't have no say in this game. But from the best parents I've seen, the best role models, best elders I've seen, like when they seen the younger gens messing up, they didn't make fun of them. They didn't point fingers. They figured out the problem.
They're a role model. You become a sage to help them through whatever they're going through.
Sadly, we don't have a lot of that no more, especially on Twitter. It's like these older gens, they're making fun of them. I'm like, bro, you raised these people.
That's because a lot of these people are grown little kids. They don't know how to raise themselves, so they don't know how to raise other people. You know what I mean? They're grown kids. That's what a lot of it is. They weren't raised by their parents. They just have the age of an adult. They don't have the maturity of an adult.
Yeah, it's just the accountability in today's world.
Sure.
The biggest problem is the lack of accountability.
Sure. But let's try to hop back into this. That's something what you're just talking about. We can revisit on no matter what podcast we do, because it's something that needs to be constantly talked about till it changes. But I wish I had a little more time, but I'm crunched for time tonight, y'all. If I could find some time, maybe tomorrow over Friday, because Friday can be kind of tough to broadcast on because we'll have to get on so late to get any type of traction because people are out usually when they go. Well, I have to go and I don't get off to 7:30, so that'll be pressing it. People will be getting ready to go out by the time I get home around 8ish or whatever. So real with this Trump thing, I'm not gonna read all this because y'all can get the gist of all of this on any news website. Like you can get the details. So I'm just gonna go over the gist. So yesterday, a Manhattan jury on Tuesday found former President Donald Trump liable for sexual abusing and defaming E. Jane Carroll and awarded her $5 million in damages. Holy shit, Trump, dude, you're just giving money away. More than a dozen women have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct over the years. Of course, that thing didn't do him any favors when he's talking about grab her by the pee. Like, dude, you're on record. And this is another thing around guys. First of all, don't ever say nothing that's fucking stupid. You need to be smacked if you talk about women like that. But secondly, dude, you got to know that people are always recording you, dude. Like, look at Hogan. Even though Hogan was wrong for what he said, bro, like Hogan is scared to say anything now. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan makes a joke about Hulk Hogan being afraid that everybody's recording him, so he's real brief on the phone with everybody now. But dude, you know damn well somebody from your camp leaked that shit. Just like the sex tape was leaked with Paige. Like like everybody allegedly, and I'm not accused, I don't know if it's true, but I wouldn't be surprised they said Brad Maddox, who was in there, one of the people that was having sex with other than Xavier Woods. Everybody think it was Brad Maddox because the way he got fired and stuff. They think he did that to generate. He probably sold the tape too. I'm sure he sold it to like tabloids and shit like that. But
wrestling stream, bro. But I don't know why, but that started that Usos promo was like, don't be getting rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. That shit,
right. And the irony of that is they pick and choose who can say that. You know what I mean? Like when they think it's inappropriate, that's when they don't want to say it. WWE gets to create its own world. You know what I mean? They don't have to adhere to the other normalities and you know what I mean? Everyday things of American society. It continues saying in the civil case, the federal jury of 6 men, 3 women, which is strange. I thought it would have been more women. And this was in New York. New York hates Trump at this point, even though his father built New Manhattan. You know what I mean? 3 women found that Miss Carroll, 79, a former magazine writer, had sufficiently proved that Mrs. Trump sexually abused her nearly 30 years ago in a dressing room of a Bergdorf Goodman department store. First of all, which sounds like a Burlington coat factory because that's owned by Jewish people. This is a crazy thing about this. Obviously, what Trump did is absolutely wrong. Shouldn't it be a statute of limitation on this type of stuff? 30 years, bro? Like this seems like a witch hunt. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy, dude. Like people can like hang you for stuff that happened 30 years ago. This is insane. You know what I mean? Even though obviously any type of sexual, you crazy. He's wrong for the grab by the pee and all that. And I don't think this is going to affect him running for president. He might not win, but he's definitely not going to be affected running for president. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. Like, come on. Like he's made a lot of people money. A lot of people have similar views to him. They just smarter with how they go about it, and they real careful of not letting stuff leak out. But I'm sure a lot of people have similar minds to Trump. They just not gonna go public with that shit. You know what I mean? But honestly, I think we're playing a dangerous game in this country where we're allowing people to dig up stuff that was so long ago. It's called being a teenager. It's called being a child. It's called adolescence. Hopefully, now it's one thing as an adult when you don't shed your juvenile behavior when you're younger. So yeah, you deserve to be continuously ostracized until you correct these behavioral actions. However, when we just going after people for petty shit, I don't like what he said and I don't want him to win. Like this comes off as petty and shady as hell. You know, does that make sense, Omar? This comes off as petty as fuck, bro.
Yeah, hey, I'm I think I don't agree with a lot of stuff Trump does. I agree with a lot of stuff he does. But if they're going after Trump, for accusations woman is making of him from 30 years ago, why are we going after Biden? Biden, they came out saying Biden literally pretty much he was taking a shower with his own daughter. Where's that? Right. But of course, the CIA control media is not gonna let that get in. Well, they might honestly, because I think they're trying to get him out of there. That's what they do. They prop up the next puppet. So they probably will.
Right.
I think that.
Yeah. I think you know what. I just hope they don't put another weird ass, incomprehensible, soft shoe ass president up in there. Like they knew damn well that man Joe Biden had no business being president. I mean, it was way more competent people than him. But and he's weird. Like he's like they said he stood next to some girl and was like, you know how hard I am by now. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, how does not any of that stuff get out? Like they be covering up. Like they buried Trump. I'm sorry, not Trump, but Clinton. Clinton was like one of the few Democrats that actually got buried. They buried the shit out of him. Like, I think it was some personal shit. And maybe his wife had something to do with it, too, because I honestly think, like, she knew something was going on with him and some of his people, and a lot of that stuff get leaked. I feel like she did the Linda McMahon thing. She went out, you know what I mean? Like, she hit him where it hurt.
Well, Bill Clinton deserves it because he's an evil piece of shit. So
of course, yeah,
but,
of course.
Well, you talking about the Monica
Lewinsky stuff? Yeah,
yeah.
Plus, other thing, I'm sure she wasn't the only one. She just was the only one that was brave enough to say something. But I'm sure it was others.
He did. Yeah. Well,
right.
I'm not trying to get too wrestling related, but it kind of ties into these things. But when
sure.
parody, in '98, when Shawn Michaels, was like did the parody of him, that shit was
it was pretty funny. Yeah, and see, that's when wrestling was cool, and they actually used to parody shit that was cool. Now they don't even bother trying to be relevant, but which is why we don't cover that shit as much as we used to. Other than the numbers thing we did yesterday with JoJo, we're not going to talk about that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not good enough to even care about.
I don't even want to talk about it right now. Just that these things tie in.
It's relevant. It connects. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, like, bro, like this is crazy. And of course, Trump defended himself, said a lot of this stuff was a hoax. Said the lady was crazy. Now the thing is, like Trump, when you get caught on video, like actually seen in situations with these people, you can't say, I don't know her. I never seen her. She's a low energy loser. You can't say shit like that when it's obvious you know the fuck she is. Like, come on, bro. Like, people want to believe you because you're extremely intelligent. You've done a lot of great financial things for this country. He's trying to get a lot of companies to get certain things back. Like, we're apparently about to default in debt, probably to China and fucking other people, where we're going to lose. I forgot exactly what we're going to lose, but we're going to lose some shit. And Trump was saying, like, a lot of the Republicans will have to deny it. What basically needs to happen is we have to stop depending on other countries for aid and for research and for labor. You have to bring jobs back to the United States. And if you're already an American and you're working hard, I don't care what country you come from. As long as you respect the laws, you respect the customs, you can come. I'm not one of those people that, he's from another country. Bro, he might have a skill that can help us out. That shit's petty, bro. Anybody can help us do anything. I'm okay with that. As long as you're willing to respect the customs of the land, you're not trying to come over here and be crazy. Anybody should be able to come over here. So that's where a lot of the Republicans fuck up at, where they don't really they're too xenophobic to a fault. And it's dumb. And to me, that's like little dick man shit. Like, that's insecure shit. Like, I'm a feast thinker. Like, and what I mean by that is I'm one of those people that think that I don't try to hide information. If I know something, I share it with other people, because you can't do what I do anyway, and I can't do what you do. So it's not like we're going to particularly step on people's toes. Like, I just don't believe in that. Some people think they got to hold stuff to the chest and shit. Like, bro, I'm not like that. Like, I believe in blessings and sharing them. Blessings always come to me, so I've never had that problem. I've been a very lucky person a lot of my life, and it got me through a lot of tough situations. But I'm a famine thinker, and I feel at times like a lot of these Republicans, because it's not just about the Democrat, even though I have a lot of issues with them and their weak dick shit they be doing, but like, a lot of the times Republicans get in their own way with this over American good old boy bullshit, bro. No, forget all of it,
bro. Yeah, I keep saying that. Like, we need a yeah, man. It's just as bad as the anti-America propaganda.
Sure.
It's like
What?
Oh, what I was gonna say is that shit, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, because I heard you. Like,
I remember.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, about that we the foreign aid stuff. America, we wasn't really. This was never supposed to be the case for America. George Washington, the founding fathers, just the only thing they wanted was tariffs. Make sure we get tariffs paid. Other than that, we weren't supposed to have all these taxes or nothing. We were supposed to have all these, whatever we have nowadays. It's supposed to be like you get tariffs because that's how we used to pay for like all the roads and stuff. Do tariffs. Right. Certain taxes like the sales tax. When you have an income, you have a property tax. And also another thing is that it's never going to happen, but is that the federal government it's one against everything the Constitution has stood for. Is that it's supposed to be like the states are supposed to be essentially their own government. People are supposed to have more, faith to their state than their country. The thing is, the federal government got too big for its bridges, and now we're suffering from it. We're pretty much Great Britain, but worse at this point.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's gonna make some people mad, but again, you know how I am. I'm gonna be the things that most of these conservative podcasters like Tim like Tim Pool, I kind of like him, Tim Pool, Jack Pazovic guy on Twitter, the idiots like him, I'm gonna say the things that they're not gonna say, but the things I'm gonna say is gonna benefit us in the long run. Like,
right, absolutely, I 100% agree. And this brings us to the Tory Lanez situation where this goes back to another thing where I don't think he's being as masculine as he should be. It seems like he's laying down to Megan Thee Stallion's people. And he did. I mean, his people, obviously his legal side, are trying to talk some fucking sense to this dude and basically tell him, like, bro, you need to try to get an appeal or some shit. Because, like, you're just laying down way too easy. So the article right here says, let me bring because I got it up here.
You see that guy? Logic song, the song where Logic, I don't want to be alive, I don't want to die today. Was he?
I never heard that song, but I'm sure he might have a song Logic because they both got Canadian. I think him and Logic are Canadian. Tory Lanez is the Canadian guy. You know what I mean? He makes a lot of stuff with he makes stuff with Meek Mill's, Drake. He's a famous Canadian rapper. He's the one that allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in her foot. That's who Tory Lanez is. And he's facing 22 years of getting deported and all that shit as of last year, December.
December. I know you talking about. I thought he was.
You've seen Tory. This is Tory Lanez right here. You've seen Tory Lanez before.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, I thought he. Yeah. I was thinking of someone else. It's a song with Logic, but that's I think her name. It's a girl.
Yeah, maybe another Tory. So the article is for this from the LA Times. Tory Lanez is denied a new trial and Megan Thee Stallion shooting. So he was probably trying to get more details. I think he might get some of this time for the simple fact that he just laid down way too easy. It seemed like he was taking the blame for that girl because it was a fight because he dated both of those girls, the girl Kelsey. And it was a fight at some party and it went outside. And I think he fired the gun in the air. And because all they found was glass shards in her foot. I don't think, first of all, if a guy's going to shoot you, why would he shoot you in the foot of all places? And if he did shoot her in the foot, it was accidental. Like, I don't think if you want to hurt somebody, you'll shoot him in the foot. That's why I thought that was kind of suspicious. But you already know the feminist women came out of the work and automatically thought he was wrong, called him a little man complex, all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Yes. And I don't believe being factual and getting all the details. Like a lot of these people are thinking way too emotional.
These people don't live in reality. They're not going to shoot, but they're probably just going to outright kill you if it's a guy, especially a black. Criticize our race, but if it's a black guy with a gun, he's not going to shoot you in the foot. He's just probably going to kill you. These people don't live in reality.
Yeah. Like if he was really that mad, a lot of people said it was drinks involved. The neighbor that saw it said all he saw was Tory Lanez fire shots in the air. That was the only time he saw him actually shoot the gun. All I think they found in Megan Thee Stallion's foot conclusively was glass. That was pretty much it. I don't remember them saying there was any bullets. And, of course, she played the role. It was a camera in the house where she was limping, but that could have been just because of the glass was in her foot.
Maybe she stepped on glass. Maybe, she could have stepped on glass. You don't know. If it's you never know. There's a lot of people there. Somebody drops a bottle of glass in their fights. She asked them to step.
The confusing part was they were in the car by the time the glass shot hit her in the foot. It wasn't inside the party. It was once they went back to their car. They was in a truck or whatever. They had left the party by then. Nobody in the party got shot. So it says a Los Angeles County Superior Court judge Tuesday denied a motion for new trial for rapper Tory Lanez, who was convicted of 3 felonies in December for shooting hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion in the foot and wounding her. Judge David Hereford rejected arguments by lawyers for Lanez, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson. The evidence was wrongfully admitted at the trial he presented over. See, this is why you got to be thorough with your lawyers, bro. You have to make sure this shit is accurate and you got actual reliable witnesses to come to court. He said the exclusion of disputed evidence will not have made a difference at the trial. Yeah, this motherfucker might be done. Peterson, 30, and he's only 30 years old, and he might be getting deported too because they want him to get deported. Will now be sentenced for convictions of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm. This is what he's fucked up at too. It was unregistered. That had more criminal charges to it. Firearm in a vehicle and discharging a firearm, which the vehicle is also a thing. This makes he's probably going to do some time. A firearm with a gross negligence. He could get up to 22 years of prison and face deportation to his native Canada. No sentencing day has been set as he was led from the courtroom back to jail after a hearing on the motion Monday. Peterson pled with a Hereford to help him, saying, quote, "I could be your son. I could be your brother." Motions for a new trial filed immediately afterwards with the same judge are a common prosecutor to appealing to a higher court, something Peterson's attorneys plan to do. The motions are very rarely successful. So yeah, bro, like this, like when I first Robert reported this when it first came back in December, and I felt like I said back then, and I still feel this way. I felt like, what's up, Victor? I didn't know Victor was up here. I'm sorry, we was off screen for a while. Victor, what's up? Like I felt like Tory Lanez was he laid down a bit too easy. I feel like that's what I feel like he did. I felt like he laid down way too easy, and he didn't fight just the way he should have. And this goes back to men not being masculine. That's what this goes back to, bro. People need to start thinking, and part of being masculine is having critical thinking skills, knowing when to do stuff, knowing when not to do stuff, knowing when to react, knowing when not to get mad. You know what I mean? Just really being cerebral and paying chess about your decision makings, what type of women you're around. Bro, stop getting caught up in this woman that's fine and I want to smash. That same attitude can cost you millions of dollars later in life, or potentially cost you your life, or potentially cost you your freedom going to jail. We have to stop. This is not masculine thinking.
Speaking of that, there's two things that relate to the subject that I want to harp on. The first one is that I know we all be seeing these fights, because essentially what it is, don't got masculinity, right? So we all be seeing these fights online at high schools. We have they be brawling, and and then sometimes I be reading the comments and I just be saying, oh, why did they jump in? Why did these kids jump in and help? And I'm like, why? I'm like, if they're 1v1, why jump in? Like, and they like, cause I read something yesterday. Like, I guess it's like they were this kid put another kid in a chokehold at school, right? And all these people in the fly saying, oh, why are these kids just recording it and not breaking it up? Back in my day, these kids. I'm like, who cares? I'm like, if it's a 1v1, let them fight. Why everybody gotta wanna jump to break it up?
Right. No, I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Because you don't know what they're fighting over. Maybe it could be over, because they're teenagers, and they're probably fighting over a girl. They're probably fighting they're probably fighting over a game, and like it's just
the point is adults need to speak up and stop expecting children to raise themselves. That's what the point is.
Yeah, well, my thing is though, it's like a kid, like people, like a teenager or a kid will learn more from getting knocked out than honestly. They're gonna learn from getting knocked out.
For sure, they'll learn how to fight. Definitely, they'll definitely learn how to fight.
And they just like sometimes you gotta fight. And then another thing is too is that you act like they don't go and be friends later on. It's like a lot of these people, like I said, it's over petty stuff. It's like usually most likely it's over a girl. That's it's over a girl.
Sure, I agree. And I'd love to follow up on that, on much later things. So I'm sure we'll have multiple episodes down the line. We're gonna wrap it up in the next 5 minutes because it's 10:15. This is not gonna be a very long. And I got your tweets up here. Right? This is what we're gonna end with these tweets.
But like to conclude on that subject, is that this could be another subject. We can talk about that later. I'm tired of this whole like myth stuff.
This what stuff?
This whole myth stuff, like these people, like these idiots online, these Andrew Tate cucks, I think I talked about it before, but how they saying no woman is mid because they don't look like supermodels. They don't.
Right.
We could do that.
Well, what's his name talked about a lot of that too. The original guy that we said they're a generic version of him. Kevin Samuels. He used to say some wild shit about the women he gave like low grades to. To me, he was tweaking. Now I understand if he means if you're factoring in career and money. Yeah, of course, most people are not going to be close to a 10. Like that's like an exclusive class with like the Beyoncés and people like that. Like it's not going to be. And I don't even really think of Beyonce as a 10. She's like an 8 probably. Like don't get me wrong, Beyonce, like her face is all right. You know what I mean? Like she's cute, but like her body is why a lot of people love Beyonce. I think it's people that look much better than her. That's regular women that look better. I'm trying to think. I think Lori Harvey looks better than Beyonce. I think Mandy Rose looks better than me. Let me name a black woman because people are gonna be thinking. Well, Lori Harvey's black. I'm trying to think some good. Foxy Brown to me looks better than Beyonce. You just don't got Beyonce money. Foxy Brown was fine as fuck, dude.
Bro. Like I don't know, bro. She look. I know. I said I'm not really.
How you said?
Yeah, I take that back of not being really attracted to her. It's probably just WWE makes them money.
Bianca is cute, but she don't really have no curves. She's too
Yeah.
muscular for me.
Well,
She don't have no curves.
Bianca today, she look way better.
She definitely looks a pretty face. She definitely
does WWE make their women look ugly on purpose? Because like,
no, it's just they don't want them to be sexualized. No, I think they allow them to be cute. Like Bianca's still cute. It's just they don't want. Stephanie tried to make it, and people like Medusa, because for whatever reason they take advice from her, despite her never doing anything relevant in wrestling. They just want to take away. They want women to be wrestlers, and and 1960s the broad burn. They don't want women to be sexualized. They got this unrealistic goal that they think people want to see women botching the ring, which they don't. But that's what Stephanie has implemented all throughout the 2010s, and now it's hard to shake because this all of this came at the exact same time. The feminization, the tampering with the food, all this stuff goes hand in hand. It is no coincidence that WWE, because they're lazy, started to cater their shows to cucks, SJWs. That all happened when everything else was going that route. Other stuff, media was going that way. The only thing that hasn't really got hit bad by it is sports, but it's coming. You know what I mean? All of this stuff is not coincidence. This was all thoroughly planned.
Yeah, but there'll be a subject for another day because I want to these tweets.
Yeah, I want to wrap this up because I want to chill a little bit before I have to go to bed because I don't have to be work to 12 tomorrow, but I still want to chill and do some stuff before I go to bed. But we'll definitely follow up on this. Wait a minute. What did I just have open? Hold on. Let me go to make this big screen because I had here we go. So Omari was going back and forth to people. Let's go to the callus of what this started from. So you're talking about writing in general or WWE writing? What were you talking about? Writing in general?
Writing in general, the whole Hollywood shit.
Sure. He said, yes, we will resort to AR before giving any rioter the pay they deserve. We can and will stoop lower. Like, this is stupid, whoever put this shit out here. Multiple studios are exploring using AI to generate scripts based on books. Honestly, some of this shit seemed like it'd be done by robot already. With these pre-manufactured bullshit ass things, they don't seem like it comes from an intelligent person half the time. But obviously, I don't want people to go without jobs. I just want you to fire the shitty writers. Keep the good ones.
Hey, that's what the bad writers. That's what I seen in my tweet. Then it got funny. That's all I'm gonna say.
Of course, this goes back to all these SJW people he's talking about, and this is what they quoted. How about a nice big cup of shut the what up? These people are hilarious. Let's go to the next one.
I would say just go to the whole one, like the main tweet, and just go down from there.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that many there. It said now you would die. Let me see. I don't think it was a whole lot of them here. It was only.
It's like in the quote tweets and like the comments. It's all over the place. It's in both.
Well, I'm gonna be careful what we put up because I don't want to get my shit flagged.
Oh yeah, you right. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, if it's something I could stop on, made the writers to do this. I figured it was gonna be a lot of this stuff that they was disagreeing. You splash, sit down and shut up, and of course they always have rainbow flags. It's always these fucking assholes all the time. Like it's always these people, bro. Why is it people always with pronouns and rainbow flags? That all, bro. Like stop eating Taco Bell, go outside, stop only watching porn and stupid wrestling. You have to read a book from time to time and watch movies that actually get you to think critically. Like I was watching Crash the other day. That was a great movie. It came out in 2004. It's a good movie. Like it was about a lot of social issues. It's a great movie. Just watch it. Just Crash. Oh, you're turning and you falling into my I had to skip past it. You're gonna stay trans, blah blah blah. Yeah, a lot of these people are stupid. Like that's the main idea with a lot of this stuff. So you decide to tweet. Yeah, these people are crazy, man. Like I'm not surprised a bit by any of these people. Like I just got to the point where I don't even engage with these people no more. Like I don't bother even talking to them. They're too damn stupid for me. And I got way better shit. And I'm always usually just too goddamn busy. Like I have a lot of stuff there's a reason why I'm successful because I'm always working. That's why I became successful. That's why I got all those views on the TikTok that fast because I'm fucking working all the time. The writers are doing their job and you delinquent, bro. Now, what they and also like they're emotional in their feelings. They completely disregarded the fact that you are defending writers. You just don't want shitty writers. That's what's wrong with these stupid people. They don't critically think, they react. Once again, that's what this whole theme of this episode has been about. You have to have critical thinking skills. It's just that simple. And people are way too reactionary and feminist. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like you have to fucking think. Like these people do not think at all. But that's what we're gonna wrap up at, Omar. Like I said, I'll let you know. We could do this again tomorrow or something. We'll see if it's some stuff trending online. We'll talk about it. Otherwise, we'll find some time to talk about it soon or whatever. Thank you to Omar Arias, Victor. Retweet this to everybody. Let everybody know what's causing all of this. It's another Mansplaining podcast in the chamber. This is probably my funnest one we had in a while. I think it's going to get some traction. Trump is fucking hilarious as usual, but he's probably going to prison, which if they can prove that they deserve to go to prison, put that motherfucker in prison. But always, be a free thinker. Always consider taking your stuff to other platforms. And you know what I mean? It's time. You got to get a VPN or something, dude, because freedom of speech is disappearing. You know what I mean? And most importantly, when you work for somebody else or work for a corporation, you always going to be handcuffed to what they want you to say. I totally dislike that. If people are cool with having those type of restrictions, go for it. I'm just not interested in having that type of control. But yeah, it's been another episode. Quick power hour. Let your friends know. Retweet this. Is TJ Time 1991. We always talk about the greatest shit online at all times. Y'all be awesome. I'll talk to y'all soon. God bless y'all families.